Hello everyone, welcome to the next session on SAP ABAP on HANA training. In the last session, we have seen how can we integrate CDS with Business Object Processing Framework to do transactional Fiori application out of the box from an OData service created with CDS integrated with Business Object Processing Framework. We saw how the BOPF gets created automatically and what kind of capabilities which were earlier not possible in an enterprise application are now made possible with the help of this capability of CDS BOPF integration with CDS UI annotations and OData services. I was also talking about a draft based application in the last class. I said I will show you how to create a draft based application where you can save your work when it is half completed, and when you go back to office you can connect back to your laptop. Let's say you start creating a sales order in your mobile device at home, and then you drive to office, you open your laptop in office, and then you start editing the same sales order. So that's called draft saving functionality. How does that works in behind the scenes? We have to store the state of the UI inside of HANA database, and that's not we have to do it, that's the framework which does it automatically, the BOPF framework. So there is a shadow table which BOPF framework creates for us, and it stores the half save worked into that shadow table, which is known as draft. Okay, so how can we enable such a functionality? It's just two line of code. Quickly show you. Let's go back to our CDS view which we have created for flight meal application. So I guess this is the one. Just open this up, and now you have to add the shadow table information to enable the draft. The first annotation which we have to add is draft enabled is equals to true, and once this is done we have to also mention the shadow table name. So just put write draft persistence table name, and you can just give some table name which will automatically be created by the system. So I will typically give this underscore D, or maybe I just say flight M underscore DRF. So this is a table name I'm giving, and I don't need to create this database table. System does it automatically for me. I'm just going to save this CDS, and I will quickly activate my CDS view. So system would automatically runs through this. Okay, there's an error here. You see it turned red. It says view has generated object. Select a shorter name for this. So we got to select probably a shorter name. We just go OFT and say flight FLDR, and just save this, and I'm going to reactivate the whole CDS one more time. So I will just go ahead and activate this. Oops, there's an error, dynamic type conflict during assignment of references. Okay, there is a dump in the system, which means something at the system level is not right to display this. So I tried the same scenario today in my company's S4 system, and it has persisted the draft table automatically. However, due to privacy purpose, I will not be able to demonstrate that in my company system. I thought it would naturally work with this system as well. But yes, these two annotations, once you add it, the database table would automatically be created inside of your SAP system. So you can come here and search for the DB table, and you can see the table is being created automatically for you. So you see it's a table created by BOPF framework, which stores the draft unique ID. Make sure that all your data which you have for the actual database table, same keys, same set of fields are available, and then a draft key which internally the BOPF framework uses to store the draft. Now maybe I just try to demo it. However, it showed me a dump a little bit, but ultimately my table got created. So let me just go back to our Fiori application which we created the other day, and I will launch this Fiori application. And let me just connect. It says unable to load data. There's some problem. Okay, maybe I'm not connected. Let me just refresh my web IDE once, and I will once again trigger our Fiori application. Okay, let's see. Something went wrong. I think this draft table creation would have caused a side effect to my whole of application. Let me try recreating quickly the application one more time. So what I'll do is right click, new project from template, and say featured Fiori elements, list report, and just going to give the project name Z Online Fiori Trainings, say CDS BOPF draft, and say draft application. It's a demo system, so I'm not really sure, guys, if it I will be able to demonstrate it to you or not. Maybe I have to check that dump. This is a surprise for me. BOPF integration. Say next. Choose my OData service. First, I choose my S4 server, and then of course my OData service created out of it, which is nothing but the CDS view name underscore CDS. So that's the one. And say quickly next. So CDS, as you all know, would automatically read out all the information from the system, and it would then create things. And you see now service this is unavailable. There's definitely something went wrong inside of my system. It has also disrupted my OData service. So I guess there is some problem with this demo box. The moment we do this, it is causing a dump in the system. So generation should never lead to a dump. That's something coming from the framework, BOPF framework. That's something needs to be investigated by my administrator, not by me. So I need to just remove this. You'll also remove this. So, but hope you got some idea about what you need to add. And believe me, when you try this in your S4 system yourself, you can ensure that it would system would automatically create a draft table for you like it did here. However, there are some issues which it is throwing me. I don't know why. Maybe some system issue in this S4 sandbox. And I see activation is done. Hopefully my service would also be up and running now. Yeah, my service is up and running. So this seems to be working fine. The moment I add the draft capability for BOPF, it's dumping, guys. So that's something, a system issue. I'm not really sure what to fix in the system. But as a developer, you would see that the moment you add those two annotations inside of object model, you would get the draft capabilities automatically. What is a draft capability? For example, you have some work which you have completed, and you what system does it, and you suddenly switched off your system, or let's say you went offline. So whatever half work you've done, system would automatically have internal save points where it keeps on saving the data at different save points, and it keeps on storing into the shadow table which gets created with the BOPF. And when you come back, resume your work, you would see that was something which you were editing. And when you open the transaction once again, open your UI once again, system will when you search it, system will show you here some records with a small draft text being displayed over here. And then you can select that record and get inside the record, and then you would see half of the work which you have done and you went offline will be available for you to start editing. And then finally you can click on save. That should finally save this. So you would also get a save draft button automatically as part of this screen. So that's a draft capability with BOPF. What you get it, try it out in your internal S4 systems if you guys have one, and then hopefully it should work. Maybe I'll try to explore if it is possible to fix this issue, and then provide you a quick update later point of time in some days into our training blog as a new video. Okay, so with that, BOPF topic ends. Now we move on to the next topic, which is ALV with integrated data access. So SAP have also introduced with SAP NetWeaver 7.4. What's new? You have also SAP IDA, integrated data access with ALV. So we all use ALV in our world, like ABAP list viewer to display typical data or create a simple report program. So there was also in the past a question, Anubhav, how can we create select options? So all that is possible with this ALV with integrated data access. What is the advantage of using ALV with integrated data access? Now imagine your old world where you used to have SAP HANA data, any other database, and then you used to have data records inside of a database table. So maybe if I just put in here my database table, there were a couple of records in these tables. And then we have our application layer. This is our application layer. And then we have probably our front end layer, which is SAP. So what you used to do, you used to give a selection criteria to the user on the UI, and then this selection criteria you used to pump in. And then what you used to do is you just simply used to do a select star from database table. or from database, so which would load high volume of data directly from the database to the front end layer. And all the optimization which is needed, it's a headache of an application developer. As you, as an application developer, you have to make sure that you do a robust programming to avoid any kind of performance issues with ALV. Okay, so you need to make sure that selection criteria which was passed by user, build a dynamic where clause, pump it to the select query, and then make sure that accordingly the data has been selected from the system, so that the load between these two application and database layer has been minimized. So this was your duty as an application developer, to consider all the select criterias and load the right set of data with the right combination from database. And by any chance sometimes you cannot evaluate such condition, you used to load the full database table. Okay, so used to do select star, load everything, and then this whole application table comes up in your application layer, and then further you loop at this table and do a filtering based on your need, and then you just send a small set of data which was ultimately getting displayed, I would say, table minus delta records. Okay, this is what you used to send, and that's what finally used to get displayed inside of your front end layer. So less data was displayed, however large volume of data was selected, which would again lead to performance issues. So what SAP have done, they've given you an integrated data access framework. Starting NetWeaver 7.4 SP5, you can start using this framework directly, and it does everything for you out of the box. You don't have to go ahead and code for every single bit of it. The data selection would automatically be taken care from your database table. You just have to specify your selection criteria, just have to specify what is the data source, and rest all is left over to the ALV with IDA. So it takes care of selection of data right from the database till the top layer. All of them are synchronized by making sure the right data which really needs to be displayed here, table minus delta, is only selected. So the ALV with IDA doesn't load high volume of data from your database layer. Instead, what it does, it just loads the data which really client needs to display, and rest of the calculations and stuff like that get pushed down to the database layer. So it only loads the real data which you want to display will be loaded from the backend system. So that's what we used to do, and this is what used to get displayed over here in finally in the SEP. Clear, everyone? So that's the overall approach with SAP ALV with integrated data access. So now let me go ahead and try and create an ALV program on top of a CDS view. So I'm going to create a CDS view first of all. So let's create a CDS view for maybe open item analysis scenario. I want to incorporate my invoice header table and business partner table. So I just create a new CDS view and I just name it as ZCDS, maybe OIA invoices, and say invoices which are open for business partner. That's what I want to read using CDS. Say next, and I would choose an option to create CDS with association. Yeah, define a view with association, and let's select the data from our database table using CDS. So the first thing, we just change the view name similar to what we have it here. So OIA invoice, just to keep it less than 16 characters, and then come here is table name SNWD sales order invoice header. That's the table name I am putting. Okay, yeah, I put it. And the next one is my BPA table, SNWD business partner table, BPA table, and let's put it as a join as business partners. And I'll come here, put this one as my buyer GUID getting joined with the business partner ID. This is what getting joined. I think it's node key, not BPID. That's a join condition between these two tables. And I'm just going to insert all the elements from my first table. Maybe just remove this client field, not really necessary for me, and this data aging field as well. And now I am just going to put this dot, control space insert, and you can see all of this got inserted. Wow. And these two fields are not common, let's also mark the key field for the CDS. I just make node key as my key field, and maybe these fields are not really necessary for me, so I'm just going to remove them. Save this. So we've got the data joined, and since it's an open item, so I have to just say where the invoice are open. So you can say payment status, but let me just keep it not payment status blank. Let me keep it everything for the time being. I'm just going to activate it. So this just gives me the invoices which are created for customers. That's what currently doing, not open ones. Of course, you can put an additional where clause to say where payment status is blank. That gives you then invoices which are open. Okay, now got activated. Let me execute it now. So execute it, and voila, wow, you have so much of data in our S4HANA sandbox. About 100 roads have been retrieved by far. However, there are more number of records inside of your CDS. So now on top of the CDS, I want to create a report program which would do a typical selection from the database and going to fetch the data and going to print the data in ALV. In the old world, what you used to do is you used to do select star or select some columns from the database table where some conditions, and then of course if your selection condition goes big, like you have so many select options and parameters, this can go more complex and complex where you have to use permutation combination if else condition to build your dynamic select and dynamic where clause. Now that whole complexity goes away if you use ALV with integrated data access, because data access is the responsibility of ALV IDA framework. The second best advantage of this is you really also don't have to specify the field catalog. So typically when we want to design an ALV in ABAP, we have to create a field catalog internal table with all the fields which we wanted to be part of it. So that's what we used to do it in the past, and now with integrated data access on ALV, you really don't getting into it. It's so simple as simple as that. So now the next advantage is you can also make sure a lot of capabilities of ALV, like which ALV offers you, like chart sorting, searching, and believe me, it's all done at DB level. So if you're doing a filtering, then what system does, it dynamically creates a filter condition and then impose that filter condition directly to the database level. It filters the data at the DB level, hence the volume of the data which is getting transferred is minimized. Okay, the volume of data which is getting transferred is minimized with the help of doing inbuilt filtering inside of our database itself. So earlier you used to fetch all the data and then you used to do filtering in the application layer or in the front end layer, but now it's all done dynamically, automatically with IDA. So IDA framework will automatically create a filter, makes a call to your database table, and then your database which is nothing but SAP HANA DB now does this code to data paradigm. It automatically evaluates everything what needs to be displayed at runtime, and finally the data is being sent back to the application layer. So this is the overall setup what we typically have it with integrated data access in ALV. So let's start creating our ALV report program to be able to consume this integrated data access with ALV. So I'll just go back and I'll come to my SE38. You can of course do it in Eclipse as well, and just create a new report ZALV with integrated data access open items. Okay, they're truly not open items, but just giving a name. So ALV with integrated data access, guys. I just come here, executable program, save this. The very first fundamental difference now is you're not going to use cl underscore GUI underscore ALV underscore greet class. You're going to use directly integrated data access for ALV. So we are going to now say data, and I will just define the object for my ALV, which is type ref to if salv GUI table underscore integrated data access IDA. Okay, so this is the interface we will be using to be able to use our IDA. Now next thing we will do is LOALV, and I'm going to assign this to a CL SALV GUI table integrated data access. That's the main class, and this class has a method to be able to create an object, and I will choose the option create for CDS view. Control space, press enter, and I put my CDS view name as an input to this hard coded. So what's my CDS view name? It's this one. Just choose this CDS view name, put it here, save this. So we can see that it will create automatically the output. So that's my ALV object. Now what I can really do it, I don't want to right now do any complex selection or filtering or role checking or grouping or anything else for that matter. I can then directly display the data inside of an ALV, and it does everything for me absolutely free. So I can now say ALV object full screen, display me the data on full screen display. So let me just come here, use this ALV object, and I'll say full screen, and I can say display. So of course this is a level number 1, guys, where I'm just simply creating it and displaying the data on the UI. Let me just execute, and voila, you see it just displays me the data directly as it is fetching from the database layer. Now the very important thing, now we will go step by step and learn a lot of things about the ALV. So for example, now I want to give an input parameter, a select options, which was asked also by many of you. Can we pass the select option to the database to select the data? Yes, of course you can do that now. So this is how you are also going to migrate your existing ABAP reports using IDA. So use IDA, guys, it's best for performance. And now comes here, let's create a select option for business partner ID. So I say select hyphen options, and I'll say BP underscore ID for SNWD BPA. I should know that this should be uh, there should be a field string I need to declare for declaring this. So that's my field string, and I've created a select option inside of ABAP so that it will show me a beautiful screen to select the data. But this select option now has to be pushed down to the database, so that database level the filtering is done, and then the final data is being displayed. So let's try this first example for with integrated data access. So I'm just going to put example 1, and I say using select option for ALV. Okay, so let's go ahead. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create an object, a range collector object, which is going to collect the range of input, because this is a select option here. So select option always gives you a range of values. So we have to create a range collector object for ALV, and then in that object I'm going to embed the value of select option from this BPID thing. Typically the naming convention what we use is S stands for select options, so maybe just business partner, so BUPA I'll put it. So this is a naming convention usually we all use to create a select option inside of system. So now what I'm going to do is I'll say data, and I'm going to do all inline data declaration. Let me just put it BUPA. So all inline data declaration I'm going to do data underscore LO collector object, and say CL underscore SALV underscore range tab collector. And guys, to create an object now you can also use Java like syntax. That's the new syntax in ABAP to create an object of a class. That's how you can do it. You don't need to now explicitly write two statements. First declare an object and then you say create object name. Not required. Just put new and the class name. The object of the class gets created. This is a new syntax in ABAP which we had learned in the past. Then coming to the collector, and I can say add ranges for name. So I have to now put here which is the field for which I'm adding the range and what is the range values. So let's go back to CDS. So I want to filter based on business partner ID. So you can see BPID is my field name. Remember guys, this should be kept in capital letter when you're creating it. So name is BPID. This is the criteria I am looking forward to filter based on, and this is the actual select option values which I want to pump in inside. Remember, you have to also use the internal table symbol to indicate all the values of select options here inside this. Okay, so once this is done, you have to call a method get collected ranges, and get collected ranges is going to collect this information into named range object and named range internal table. Now for example, if you have multiple selection criterias, what you can do is you can keep on calling this method add ranges for name, add ranges for name, add ranges for name for multiple fields, and once all of these fields are ready, system would then prepare a complete internal table of your dynamic where clause. Where will you get the dynamic where class from? So right now you're pumping it to the object collector object, all your select criterias, and once all the select criterias are prepared, the dynamic where class is also prepared automatically for you. You don't have to write. So earlier what we used to do, we used to write concatenate where my field name in the value and then in and in or all the condition combination we used to write it, right? So now that's not required anymore. You just use these ready to use objects which are available with integrated data access framework, and once you are finished loading all your finish adding all your selection criterias, you can call a method get collected range objects. So this is what you call, and it will return you now a internal table which has all the entire where clause built automatically for your purpose. Let's do an inline data declaration to collect all the ranges. So I just put it lt named ranges. Okay, that's my inline data declaration. It will automatically create this, and finally just tell the ALV that this is my select option. So just say lo underscore ALV object, and I'll tell the system that this is my set select options. So all the select options, so suppose you have multiple, so all of them you can quite easily set them together with this lt named ranges table where you have received everything for your need. So let me just, it is stuck, so just wait for a minute. It is stuck. No, not running. Yeah, cursor is back. Let me see if I can type in set. No. So now I will come here and say set select options, and now inside of this we will be passing our entire ranges which we had created. Now in addition to that, you want to tell the system that all these ranges should be or and. Okay, that also you can see exactly. Okay, so you can put here the condition, extra conditions if you have, like between these ranges itself, if you want to do an or if you want to do an and, that is what you can pass in the next one. So now I can come here and just remove this part. So we are done with ALV, and now we just say display me the data. That's it guys, it will do a filtering automatically for you. Let me just activate. Oops. Yeah, now I think you can see this. So I'm here at the activation level, so I was able to write the method set select options in which I pass IT ranges, the ranges which I prepared the dynamic where clause based on my select criteria. Now there is a issue. SNWD BP ID is unknown. Why? Let's do a check. Okay, let me try SNWD BP. Yeah, great. So I used it now, and let me activate. So now this is also the answer of your question. In one of you have asked me how to use select options. So here you can see now you got a select options, and the beauty of system is it will evaluate the data at the backend level, at the HANA level. It will push down this selection condition to HANA. Earlier this filtering used to be done in application layer. If you are not coding in the right way, that now this would probably go ahead and do the selection at the database level. So I'm just first execute it just to see the data. Oops, there is a dump coming, zero object not reference. That's because of our object creation. Let's go to st22 and see the dump information, and just come here, object ref not assigned, source code extract. It's dumping here, set select option pay. It's dumping. What is dumping here? LO ALV we have not declared. Oops, I think the LOALV I have to put it above. Yeah, of course, that's the problem. It's later. Go for change. Easy to identify, very easy. This declaration should be on the top. Of course, first you create object, then you use the object. Save this, activate, and just going to run it without filtering. So just first execute. Everything is fetched, and let's check out some records for a business partner. Go to the right corner and you see there are some records for 1000 and up to maybe 4. So right now you see records for 100 something. A lot of records are there. Maybe I want it for only 4 of the business partner or 1 of the business partners. So I go back, I put in my business partner and execute it, and I see, oops, there's some problem. Why it's not working? It's not working. There is a problem. Definitely the problem is because of our BPA. This one, I think the data type we have used inside of our CDS view the BPA table, but here I use the BP table. I think that's the reason it's not working, and BPA table it's not allowing me. So what else can we put in select options, guys, other than this reference? What else can we put? Anybody? So I think BP table is not the right table. It's the BPA table, which is used for business partner ID. I have to maybe then create a flat structure to be able to map it to BPA. Yeah. No, this should not be node key. See, BP ID is the ID of the business partner, not the node key. So don't get confused. So I maybe create a flat structure quickly, and I just put this ZSTR BP create data element. Sorry, not data element. Just come out and create one more time structure, and I say BP for select option, and just put here BP underscore ID type, and then of course just go and check it out. SNW BPA table. What is the BP ID data type? So BP ID is this partner ID. That's what I need. Put it here, save this flat structure and activate it. No problem, not really care about warnings, and we can just come back to my program and put my flat structure over here, and then just reference the BP ID from the flat structure to create your select option. Perfect. Let's activate it, execute it, and now let's put in here our values. I'm not sure if I'm putting right values. No, not really. These are not right values. Let me execute one more time without any selection condition. Go on the extreme right where the BP ID is being displayed. Yeah, here is the BP IDs. So I'll pick it up, the BP ID, copy this and come on the back, put it here, execute it. No, there's some problem, guys, in our code then. It's not filtering the data. So we put BP ID, we put BUPA, whatever ranges we are giving, get collected ranges. Let me debug this quickly. I put a value, execute it, and let's see. LT ranges, we have empty. LT ranges is empty, guys. However, okay, currently it's of course empty. I have to execute this line, and now I've got one value into LT named ranges, which says business partner ID is IE equals to this. That's what it should do. And I'm just saying set select option and then display. Ideally it should work. It should filter the records automatically for me. It's not doing so. There is some problem. There is some problem, guys. Why it's not filtering the records? Ideally it should. Maybe 0 coming before the BP ID. Can you show in the data in the DB table? Let's try that up. Maybe, yeah, you're right. Maybe there's a 0 behind. because data format has to be kept intact. Maybe what I'll do is I'll quickly use F4 help to select the data rather than this. Okay, so let's choose F8, do an F4 and say okay, and I'll pick it up some value. No, there is no 0 before this actually, at least not. Maybe I just try putting 0 if possible. No, that's not working out, guys. It's not nothing to with the 0. In DB also, if let's say there is a 0 and if I put a 0 prefix, then it should work, right? So it doesn't matter. I tried testing it preceding 0. Maybe in the database there is a 0 behind this. I had already tested it by putting a 0 behind this, but that's not working. There's some problem. Maybe I need to cross check that. I will upload the program, correct program, after checking this up. Okay. Okay, so we will check this. I'll check this offline, and when I'm uploading the program, it will be working for you. So let's move on right now to the next one. Now the next interesting point here is when I run this, let's say at least I can test this one without any conditions. So you see it's filtering and getting me all the data. Of course, actually all the data, not at all filtering. And you see there are so many technical GUIDs which are being displayed. This generic GUID, this generic GUID, this generic GUID. I don't want these columns to be part of my output. So who controls the columns of ALV? Anybody? Who controls the columns of ALV? Is the field catalog. So what we can do is the system automatically creates a field catalog behind the scenes for us. We can access that field catalog and update that based on our need. So I want to remove all the node keys out of my field catalog. So you can see there are node key here, then there may be some node keys, sales order GUID, this one, this GUID, this node key, this GUID, all these I want to remove it completely, and that should be done quite easily. So let's go ahead and try doing that. So I can go back and I'll just try to access the information of available fields. So let me just use this ALV part, and now the next one. So of course the first example did not work. I need to check that what's wrong, and maybe I just come here and say, let's say remove the fields from output from ALV. Now, what used to happen earlier when you used to remove the fields is still the data was selected for those fields from the database table, and they were just removed from presentation. But here, when you remove a field, what technically happens, the generated SQL statement to the database from IDA would not at all have those fields added. So data itself is not selected for those fields from the database because you're not displaying them on the UI. So it's such a tight integration with integrated data access with the UI. What it does, it automatically understands so well that what are you selecting, what is that you don't want to display, so it accordingly will select the data from the database table, and you don't have to take care of all these things. It's been already taken care by the IDA framework. You just have to tell I don't want these fields from the field catalog. So we will first access the field catalog which is available. So I just come here and say field catalog object, and I'm going to get all the available fields. So I say get me the available fields from the system, and I'll just go ahead and declare an inline data declaration for my field catalog, LT catalog. And now I can come here and update this. So I can say delete my internal table where table line contains a pattern. It contains something called a key. So just remove something which has a key, node key, parent key, whatsoever it is. This ones I want to remove, and I want to also remove the GUIDs. So I have some GUIDs here. So these ones also I want to remove from output. So GUID and key. Anything else? Yeah, here is a GUID. You see, it's a GUID. This all gets removed now from the field catalog table, and I have to set back this field catalog, updated field catalog table to the ALV. And then what I'll see is I'll just again access my field catalog object and tell the system to set available fields. Just pump in back my field catalog to this. Okay. Now activate this and execute it. you would see all the technical fields, at least some of them are gone. You see generic node key and generic node key, this is there. I think this is because of something else which didn't got removed. Maybe I'll just quickly debug this and see some more keys have been left over or not. So I put a debugger, execute it, and let's see the field catalog what it has at the moment inside of your table. So I can come here, say F6, that's a field catalog. You see 23 fields are there. I just execute this key statement. You see 22 left over. I execute the GUID statement and you see 19 left over. Out of these 19s, I guess there are some more culprits which are causing this GUID to be displayed on the UI. So let me just check company name, daily note number, dunning level, email address, legal from. I think there's nothing as such which would cost me an GUID to be displayed. Maybe just execute one more time and let's see. It's still displaying me the GUIDs, guys. It's still displaying me the GUIDs. Ideally it should not, but I would see less columns actually as compared to which columns are these. Press F1. Let's see if we get some information about this field. So there were about 18 fields which were left over. It's actually displaying those 18 fields to me on the UI. So this is how we can adapt the field catalog. So that's what exactly we can use by adapting the field catalog API inside of ALV. Now the next one is I want to also can control the visibility of the fields. That's something you can also do it. So if there is a field which you don't want to, just you want to select the data for that, but you just don't want to display that, so that is also controlled with the visibility field. So again, similarly, in the layout, in the catalog, you've got the field list. You can use again default layout option to hide some of the fields which you don't like or you don't want it to be in the output. Okay, it's stuck. Maybe just stop. So the next one, I want to now change the labels. So suppose there are a couple of fields over here for which I don't like the label what is coming automatically from the data element. I want my customized label for certain columns. That's something also we can control with the help of it. So maybe you can see this column here, created at. So there's a database field corresponding to that column got generated. I want to change that label to Anubhav, let's say. So that also something we can control. So I can come here to ALV. So maybe example number 3. So that's my next example. So example 3, change the field labels. Just use ALV and then use field catalog object one more time. And now I just say set filter header text API and put in your field name, and the field name is created at. I want to change this to a new label. So header text, I want to change it and just change it to, let's say, Anubhav. And then I want to also decide a tooltip for that. So that's also, you can say, changed by Anubhav. Wow. Save this, we are done, and you would see now the created at, I guess, a created at column. Yes, its label will change inside of my output. So that's how you can customize it based on your need. So F8, and yeah, you can see the label of this particular column has been changed to Anubhav with tooltip has changed by Anubhav. So that's how you can control really a lot of features of this ALV which is getting built automatically for you. Okay. So I'm still not sure which fields are bringing these GUIDs, but many of them got removed. You have now left over only with 18 columns, which assumes to be not having any GUIDs. Okay, that's something it's assumed to having. So now let's go back. The next one, we want to disable some standard functions. So you see right now when I execute my ALV, there are a lot of standard options like available. Okay, and I want to disable some options for certain ones. So for example, I can now do an aggregate on this roll, or I can do an aggregate on this total. So I can see this particular column, I can apply an aggregate and I can calculate the sum. So now you can see here sum, and I say total, and you can see the total got calculated. So I want to disable this option for allowing user to create aggregate of certain column. Hopefully you don't want to do it, you want to enable it, of course, but sometimes maybe just in case, let's say he does an email address column, he selects, and now he does a total. Okay, so that's something which is not allowed actually. It's a character column. How would you sum up? So such things you can disable it quite easily. We don't even allow user to do such an aggregation at such column levels. So that's something which we can also control. We can pass in the field name and we can say we don't want aggregates to be allowed. Maybe let's say for the gross amount you don't want to allow user to calculate a total. So I can come back, I can again use my ALV field catalog object, and then I can say disable aggregation method, and I can pass my field name gross amount. I hope this is the field name. Let's check it out. So I can come here. Yes, this is the field name gross amount, and now the aggregation will be disabled for this. So let me just write down the comment. Example 4, disable the aggregation for column. Let's activate, execute, and now let's again select this gross amount column. I hope this is the one, because I see this is what is displaying that some values. And now let me try and aggregate a sum for this. So now I say total, and you see it gives me a message here at the bottom: desired operation cannot be performed on total gross amount. Guys, that's the beauty. You can control, customize. Sometimes it may so happen that your manager says, okay, never allow user to do a total, or never allow user to do an average, or something which is an aggregation done at runtime. And believe me guys, this is all done at HANA DB level. When you say give me a total of, let's say, net amount, what system really does, it push down this calculation. It creates a nice little query to HANA DB. It sends it to SAP HANA DB automatically. Earlier in the past, it's all were done automatically by application layer. Your application layer used to do this activity by fetching the data, how much so ever volume it is, it used to fetch and then used to do calculation at the application layer level. With integrated data access, it's all done at DB level. It does a code push down really to database, hence you get great performance. So if you already have an ALV report inside of NetWeaver, better transport it or convert it to an ALV report with integrated data access. That gives you best results when you want in terms of performance. Now we can also enable disable options for table. Now for example, I want to add a quick title for my table. So let me see next example to enable disable some or certain options for the table. Example number 5. So say example, enable disable certain options. So maybe first use my ALV object one more time, and I call display options. This all comes under display option object. So they've grouped it very nicely inside different objects, and I can say set the title for my ALV, and I can now provide a title. This is ALV with IDE. At the same time, I want to also show you maybe changing an alternate row pattern, like in Microsoft PowerPoint. When you open or create a table, you get alternate zebra lining for every table. That is something also you can achieve in ALV with integrated data access. So let's again choose display options, and I choose an option called enable alternate row pattern. That's a method you call it. Save this, activate, and execute. Let's see the output. And you see alternate row colors, guys. You see light color, dark color, light color, dark color, light color, dark color. This is how system have automatically done a coloring for every alternate row for your table. Okay, that's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of this approach. So this is how system enables alternate color for the row inside of an ALV. Next option. So with the next option, you can also now control the default layout. Suppose you want to by default sort some data. okay, or you want to group the data. So right now if you see, all the data is displayed like in random order. For in randomly it is getting displayed. I want to group my data or sort my data based on business partners. So I want to display first business partner ID on from top to bottom. So maybe I typically do it after coming to the ALV. I can do a sorting at runtime, and you see it's sorted and it also grouped the data. However, in this case now I want to do it automatically at the beginning itself. So that's something you can quite easily do it. You can set the sort order, and at the same time you can also tell the system to define a grouping for that. So let's go ahead and do that. So I can just come back. That's example number 6. Enable sorting and grouping of data, and you say LOALV, and I can say default layout object. That's what I want now, the default layout to change, and I can say set sort order. These methods are very helpful. That's why I'm demonstrating each of them, guys. Very, very powerful methods which helps you to achieve a lot of functionality which your manager or your team member or business functional consultant expects from you. So that's the reason we are going so deep into integrated data access with the ALV. Can we select multiple line in output and process in IDA? Yes, we can do that. I will show you, like, if you can select a line and do a custom action. I will show you that, Krish. Okay, I'll show you that. So now, right now, let's focus here on sort order, and this passes an internal table. Let me use the new syntax to create an internal table at runtime with some data into it, and do the grouping. So I say value hash. That's a declaration of internal table directly. So I will now pass inside of this first record of my internal table. So, and I say field name is business partner ID. Then comes is grouped equals to above true. Group the values, and do you want in descending? No, I don't want in descending. I want sorting to be done in ascending order. Above false. So that's it. Save it, and let's activate it, execute it, and I will see magic happening here. It has grouped the data based on business partners automatically. What a nice grouping. And when I expand it, you can see the data for that particular business partner, invoice data for that particular business partner is being displayed to me. What an amazing feature ALV gives me. Does a sorting also automatically according to the business partners, and does a grouping also for me. What an amazing thing. Imagine this you would have to achieve inside of a normal ALV. It would take hell lot of coding for you to go ahead and achieve this kind of results. Moving on to the table functions. Now, for example, you have multiple functions like print, Excel, and stuff like that. Many times it so happen that we don't want to allow those standard functions to be appearing inside of ALV. And how can we achieve to now disable them? So that's example number 7. I want to disable standard functions. So let's use ALV, and I can say standard function object. Yeah, something like exclude toolbar option which you use in your typical ALV, but here it's all very simple. There are ready to use APIs. You call them up, and then accordingly system would react to it. So make it above false. So don't want to display the print option, and maybe at the same time I don't want to display any aggregation to be enabled for anything. Okay, so I just come here and I say set aggregation. So all your standard functions are listed in this API. Above false. Done. Let's go and test it. And now you'll see print option will run away, and aggregation option also ran away. There is no print option anymore. There is no sum min max option anymore. Suppose they don't want to allow aggregation for any column, so then you won't go and add it for every column. Rather than you add it at a table level, just make it disappear. Okay, and that's how you can control the visibility of certain things. You can also control the visibility of all the functions in one shot using toolbar object. So this is a toolbar in ALV, and I can tell the system I don't want anything from the toolbar at all. So I can say hello ALV again, and I just access the toolbar object, and then I can ask the system to set visible for standard function, make it above false, and now you can see in one single call I can enable or disable or hide the standard functions with one single method. Rather than using individual methods, you can use this to hide the ones which you don't want. That's another option to achieve the same results. So that is something I'll keep it as a commented code. You guys can try out and definitely can get back to me for issues. Very simple API call. Now, what about custom logic? Like one of you were asking, Anubhav, can I add a custom button and then on click of that button, something needs to be done. So how to handle that? Very simple. Let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to add LOALV and a custom button. So for that, use toolbar. Inside the toolbar, we're going to add it. So use toolbar object. And now inside of this, we say add a button. I add a button, and let me put the function code for the button, and I'll name this function code, let's say detail screen. I want to go to a detail screen, and what I'll do is I can also choose an icon basically for this. Let me uncomment this line of code, and I can choose if it is disabled or enabled. Of course, you're creating it, you want to make it enabled. You can give a text for this button, you can give a quick info, which is nothing but tooltip, and what should happen is before a standard function. So should it be displayed before standard function or should it be displayed after all the standard functions? I'll say it should be displayed before the standard functions on the UI. What is the quick info? I'll say click here to see magic, and then put the text as display, and then that's an icon. You can choose an icon, of course, from a standard SAP icon, like icons database table we have it. I don't want to right now give it, and that's it. Let's go ahead and see this button gets created. Of course, nothing will happen when I click on the button because I have not yet defined the event handler for the same. So I save it. Again, it's taking time to save. I think it's too much of line for this system to handle. It's taking some time to save, and once it gets saved, you will see the button would come up, but then it comes about handling the button. So we have to set an event handler for this button which we had created, so that system would be able to handle the code inside of that, and whatever record you are selecting, that record data can also be transported to the next screen. So I'll show you that. So execute it first, and now you can see my display button is appearing before all the standard functions. However, at this point of time, I can't select the record, guys. See, it's not allowing me to select record inside an ALV. We have to first enable the record selection. Okay, that's the first very important thing which I need to do. So let's enable the record selection. So we have to now tell the system that user should be able to select records. So for that, you have to make a setting LOALV selection object of ALV, and then say set selection mode. So one of you were also asking, can we do a multiple selection? Yes, of course. Using the selection mode, you can do multiple selections of your records. Right now in this case, I want to enable single selection, so I can just do if SALV. If not possible, maybe we'll check if it is possible or not possible. So we'll go to an interface, constant interface, which IDA provides me, and then I say CS selection mode. Let's see, I'm not sure if we can allow control space, and yes, you can't do multi select, guys. Here in this case, you have to go with single select or none. Currently it's none. I want to set it to single select mode, and then I want to also add the event handler. So to enable multiple selection, there's a workaround. You just add the first column as a checkbox column to ALV. This is what we used to do to allow multiple selection in a project. Okay, now I activate this, execute it, and you would see a nice selection is being done. Now you see, guys, when I'm selecting one of the cell, it's selecting the whole row now for me. Okay, yes, Krish, you're right. So I go back. Now selection is enabled, but we want to now handle this detail screen action. So whenever somebody clicks on that select a record and then clicks on it, what should happen? So I want to probably launch a completely different screen. Absolutely, we got to add an event handler and a local class to handle that. So I say perform, and we just quickly create a subroutine set event handler. And let me just create a form and form here, subroutine. And inside of this subroutine, I am going to register our event handler for this action. So this is a normal thing. We will first create a class. Okay, so let's create a class, local class, class local event handler. And then definition, create. I just create a private and then say public section. And inside of this, I'm going to write a static method. So class hyphen method, toolbar selected for event function selected. That's a standard event of ALV, which we are subscribing in event handler, IF SALV GUI toolbar, toolbar object, integrated data access, and importing EV function code. So in this function code, you will know which button was pressed by user on the UI. Then you have protected section empty, private section empty, all of that is empty. End of my class definition, guys. And let's create the class implementation. So local event handler class implementation, and let's implement this method over here. So method, and then it's a toolbar selected. That's my method name. And now I'm going to write some code. So right now let me just put a breakpoint to just test it if it at least triggers my method or not. End method, end class. Clear, everyone? Just created an event handler, and now we have to set the event handler. That's a very important activity. So let's set the event handler. So this is my handling of event using the class. Actually the class definition is created with at the bottom only, directly like this. And in set event handler, we are just going to set the event handler. So set handler, and then my local class, local event handler class. It has a static method called toolbar selected for lo underscore alv toolbar. So I'm just saying whenever somebody clicks on toolbar, an event handler method should get called. And inside of this event handler method, you see we have put a breakpoint. So now what will happen is whenever you click something on the toolbar, your button, it will hit the breakpoint now. Let's activate this. Oops, there's an error. Okay, it's just a method, not methods. Yeah, right. That's a syntax error. Yes, got activated. Watch carefully. It will now hit the breakpoint. We have set the event handler for toolbar object of our ALV, and it would call this event handler method whenever you click on the button. Let's execute it. And I'll just say display. So let me select a line, click on display, and yes, you can see it started my debugger. Now what you can also do is, guys, you can find the information about the selected item here inside of this. So I can easily do that. The another interesting point is you will get an object here called evf code. Evf code will tell you which event was fired, which function code was triggered by user. So you remember we had a detail screen as the name of our function code. That is what you get it. Basically this is the event handler method which gets called for all toolbar functions. Whatever toolbar functions you have for custom ones, this is the one which will get called. In this, now you have to put a switch case statement to differentiate which button was pressed by user and accordingly do your coding. Okay, so what I will do now is use this as my reference. EVF code. So let me just copy this and write down the code now to handle this. So I want to just display the selected record in another section. So what I'll do is come back to this, remove the breakpoint, and put my case statement here on EVF code, and I'll say if user click on my detail screen event handler, then do something. What is that something? We will now first get an access of the selected ALV record. We will first see if he has at least selected something. So that is first thing you need to check. Did user select a record first of all? So ALV selection, no, not get selected row. It's not the normal ALV, it's a ALV with IDA, new implementation. So you have to use all these are inside these sub objects, and you see if there is a selection done at all on the UI, then it makes sense to proceed. If the user didn't even select a record and you just clicked on the button, there's absolutely no meaning to display anything in that case. So just put a safeguarding here, and then you tell or get the access of the data what was selected. So I just get selected row, and now you're gonna get the selected row here. So of course you will see some method name similarities probably, but you would not see exactly the way we do it in normal ALV. And now we just get it in ls row. Let me declare the ls row, and it will be type of your CDS view, guys, because each row should be of now type of your CDS view. So let me declare that in data, this type my entity name, that's my data. You can of course do inline data declaration, completely fine, no problem about it, but I just use it this one for simplicity. And then we will just display this selected record in a completely new. So again I'm going to reuse an API which ALV framework gives me, cl underscore salv underscore ida show data API, row data API, display, and pump in the row of my table inside. That's my coding now to handle the custom action. Let's activate it. Come here, execute. Now let me select a record. Okay, so I select this record 512 and I say display, and you can see the whole record is getting displayed in a pop-up for me. That's the beauty of integrated data access with ALV. So all these things you can achieve the capability which you had earlier in past. All of those capabilities are also available now with integrated data access with ALV. Only better thing is automatically your performance gets improved when you use it, because by any chance if one of the developer have done mistakes of fetching all the data to application layer or filtering things in application layer, then that is costing you a lot of performance problems. But with integrated data access, it's all integrated inside of ALV framework, and it makes a call, it makes a good decision of what to do. A code push down, basically it does for everything a code push down to database and fetches you the right record. That's not all, you can also now control the authorization with the help of this. Suppose I want to design an ALV and I want to make sure that a certain user will not have authorization to see invoices of certain business partners. I can actually control that very easily. So I can go and tell the system use this particular authorization object, and only for certain business partner IDs you have an authorization. Hence, you will be only able to use those business partner IDs. So let me just create a new authorization object. Okay, so maybe I'll create an authorization object first of all and show you creating imposing an authorization onto the data which ALV is displaying you. Okay, so let's go to SU21 where we can start creating our authorization class and authorization object. So I come here and create an object class, and I just give a name called ZBUP as a business partner authorization class. Click on save. ZBUP, come down to ZBUP, here it is, and I'm just going to create a new authorization object inside and just name it as, let's say, ZBUPA ID. I can't name that exactly, so maybe just name it as ZBU. Okay, it's actually creating class, guys. I have to choose authorization object. I will create object, guys. So Z Bupa underscore ID I am choosing as my business partner authorization object for uh, for invoices. Okay, and I'm just going to click on field maintenance, and I'm going to add a field inside of this called business partner ID. Okay, that is equivalent to my BPID field inside of my database. So there's no field right now exist. I'm going to create a new field also called Bupa ID, and that will be of data type my business partner ID. So let me create an authorization field now, name it as Z Bupa underscore ID, and I will put the data element from our DB table for business partner. It's this one. So let's create an authority field, save this, come back, and now let's come back again, and now I'm going to add first is activity field, and now Z Bupa underscore ID field. So see my partner ID field and my activity and my authorization object name is also Z Bupa ID. Click on save, local object, and so that's the job of a developer, to define authority class and authority object with authorization fields. And now against this you can compare it. You can tell the system that don't choose the data from the database automatically if certain authorization for corresponding to this business object is not assigned to the user. I'll show you the magic of this now in a minute. So you can control the access of data much better at the ALV level directly with the help of this concept. So now I'm going to, okay, I clicked on save. It's taking a little bit of time. After it gets saved, I'll show you that I can go back to my ALV report, and I can tell my ALV report to do a quick check for this authorization. So let it save over there. In the meantime, I'll come here before displaying the data. I want to impose the authorization now at this level. So that's my next example. I don't know what is it. Authorization checks, and I say LOALV and say add authorization for object. This is the method which we'll call, and now in here we will pass my authorization object name, which is zbupa underscore id, and here my activities, what are all the things which are permitted for user. So I'll say value hash, and just going to create authority field, name is activity, and say value, allowed value is 03. Only the users which has this value assigned to their user to the role will be allowed to see the values. And field mapping also I have to specify for my zbupa id field, and I'll say now it should be mapping to my BPID field of my CDS view. So this is the mapping, what data you have been given, what authorization you have given for business partner ID corresponding to the BPID which is being fetched from the database. That's what exactly we will use. So this is a mapping, this is a CDS view field, and this is the BPID field uh, from the authorization object. Okay, that's the mapping we have done. And now what I will do is watch the magic. Watch the magic here. What will happen is system would now automatically make a check if user has authorization to be able to read certain business partner data or not. Okay, so now I'm imposing this authorization, and I will just activate it, and now when you run the report you will realize that none of the data will be displayed because currently my user in this system don't have an authorization to view business partner data. Okay, that's what will happen. Let me activate this, and oops, some problem. What is the problem? No component called exists. Okay, yeah, right, there's nothing called value. It's authority field and view field. View field is bp underscore id. Activate it. Done. Great. Now let's go and make sure that this one is also active. Okay, fine. Click on OK. Permitted activities only 03. Save. Okay, and that's it. My authorization object is also created. Let's run the report now with ALV. Let's see what happens. So I can come back and run this here, F8 and F8, and you see no data available. Anybody, what do you think? Why it's not displaying now me the data? Of course, definite reason, because I don't have authorization. System won't give a pop-up in this case. System just checks what level of authorization you have for business partner, and accordingly it fetches the data by making sure that authorization that you have accordingly the CDS view selection is being prepared. So now let's go give some authorization to the user. So let me just go ahead and give some authorization to this user by just going to PFCG transaction, create a role, and then assign this business authority object to the role and grant this role to my user so that I would be able to see data for certain business partners. So let me just go back to PFCG transaction and just go ahead and create a new role inside of PFCG. So say Z Bupa CDS authorization. That's a role I'm creating. I click on create, and now let me just say authorization for ALV Bupa, and click on save first. Go to authorizations tab, click on change, and I'm going to inject our authorization object here manually. Click on manually option, and now let's inject our authorization object Z Bupa underscore ID. You can see it's created, and those people who have this particular role now would be able to see certain business partner records. So I'll say it, those people who have this role, they will be only able to display what they will be able to display. They will be able to display data for business partner starting from range 100001 to 100004. Only that those much data they should be able to. So maybe I can choose multiple, and I can say okay. So only these BP, they will have an access to look at the data. So that's my role which I've created. Now save this. Our role is created, guys. Let's generate the profile. Typically this activity is done in quality system as well as production system. We don't generate profile in dev systems. We just deliver the roles with empty profiles. That's your admin who would do it in quality in production. Now let's give this authorization to mob5 user with which I'm currently connected. I just put in, save this, user comparison, done. Authorization is now assigned to my mob5 user, guys. Let me save this again. Yeah, everything looks okay. Let's go back and run the ALV report one more time. Now you just saw that I've created a role with certain values of business partner IDs up to 0 to 4. So that value, those values will be now be passed from the role to the BPID of my CDS. CDS would then only select the data for those certain business partner ID for invoices. Rest all the data will be again ignored completely. Execute it, and oops, still some problem. Why? I think there is generally a problem with BPID. Maybe I think could be the naming convention. So let me just put here this as BPID, guys, because our even select options was not working for this field. So let me put an alias here. I just put an alias. Let me activate my CDS. It could so happen that system is not recognizing it. Let me try. No, there is some problem with the BPID itself. Are you sure BPID is adding 0 at runtime? I'm not really sure. Let me just try. At least here it is not. I'm not sure how come in the database it is also not. Nowhere preceding 0 in database actually. There's some problem. Okay, but ideally it should work. Let me try with some other column, guys. So maybe we'll just not use BPID, try to use another column. Maybe I want to use some other column, let's say company name. Okay, let's try with company name. So I'm just going to go back. First, let me try select option with company name. Okay, I remove this authorization now, and maybe just go back on the top and use company name here. Okay, so let me use company name. Also add the company name to my structure, even just to see if the search works. Company name, and I just go and find this data type for this company name. This is the data type, guys. Save this, activate. Come back and let's use company name as a selection now. And here also company name. Let's see, at least filtering works. Of course, the role will also work accordingly if filtering is working fine. Execute, and I'll just press F4 and choose company name is African Gold and Diamond Corporation. Yes, guys, this one is working fine. So there's some problem with BPID, as Ranjan also proposed. It may be just doing a data type conversion at runtime. That could so happen because I have manually uploaded data inside the system. Ideally, the data was not having the right format when I uploaded it using Excel sheets to the system. That could cause a problem. So with company name, you see filter is also working, and I'm sure the role part will also work with company name. So it's a data type issue when I uploaded data from Excel sheet, guys. So you see, even my filtering is working with business partner inside the system. Let me go and also change now the role accordingly. So what I'll do is I'll just come to my SU21 and change it to company name. Okay, go to SU21 and go to my authorization object, which I had created. So it was ZBP. This is the one, and just go for change. Okay, field assignment cannot be changed once created. Maybe I have to create a new one. So let me create a new authorization object. Once again, ZBUPCO. Okay, just use this company name for authorization. And field maintenance, I'm just going to create a new field, Z company. And of course, the data element, we have it here. For company name, let's use this data element. Save this. Okay, length for authorization field should be 40 characters. Big problem now. Okay, so what can we use? Maybe I want to create it for then currency code. So let me just go to sales or invoice header table and see if I can use the currency code for this purpose of creation authorization. So I want to see only certain users which has currency code, only those currency code values they should be able to see it in the system. Okay. However, all my data is in euro only, so there's literally nothing which we can try. But at least you would have got some idea how can we use authorization objects, guys. I'm sure I cannot show in this case any example, but yes, if my BP data would have been correct in the server, I would have shown this working case of authorization field. So I'm so sure you can try that out in your system with same tables, and make sure with the steps which I repeated for business partner, it would definitely work. The one which we also saw for draft today, that's also failing because in this demo system there is some feature which is causing a dump. It's again a demo system. You cannot expect it to be like production or a development environment. And we also don't have a support because the person who created it is not a development expert. He may not be able to solve it, but maybe in future if I get some better thing, I will definitely share the updates about that. Okay. Can we apply conversion at runtime using alpha routine function module? Then no, we cannot do that because it's a standard data element and I'm not allowed to change standard data element for conversion routine. So that would not help for BPID in this case. However, you saw the filter worked the moment we change it to, instead of BPID to company name, filter worked, which is a proof that there is some problem with BPID data, because I uploaded this data from Excel sheets, guys, inside of system. So that's why it has caused this many confusion and errors in the system. So that's the problem. Okay. Yeah, right. You're right. While uploading, I would have converted already and then would have uploaded according to BB. Maybe I'll try to correct that data in the server so you guys can also practice with other stuff. So that's a complete integrated data access with ALV. There's one more topic left over, which is called full text search, which has already been now uploaded into our blog. Since my batch is already out of schedule, I got to run for next one, and that's the reason I have already uploaded the last feature, which is SAP HANA text search capability, full text search capability with ABAP. Already a video has been uploaded, guys. So please watch this. If you get any doubt, feel free to get back to me. In this, I've showed end-to-end scenario of making use of SAP HANA text search capability in ABAP using SAP HANA with the Fury application. So please watch this video for the last topic, and ALV anyways we got completed. With that, it's a wrap of complete ABAP on HANA course. Hope you all enjoyed the topics what we started from day one till the last day, and especially the CDS, the modeling concepts, the proxy objects, everything I taught you guys right from scratch till the end. New topics like BOPF integration I've included. More videos you will be finding on my YouTube channel. I will be uploading a lot of things on YouTube in near future to latest things which will be keep on coming in the market. I will anyways be updating inside in the YouTube, and you will all get email from me or notification if you subscribe to my channel regarding the same. So with that, it's a wrap. Any questions before we close our today's last class? Thank you so much, Sahili.
Hello, Anubhav.
Yeah, hi.
Teja here.
Yeah.
Can you provide what all trainings are going on, your schedule, so that we'll just
Okay, it's all available on
understand
my
what
website.
you
So
are
right
planning.
now, I think for you as an ABAPer, as I mentioned in the past, UI5 is also a good point to get started with. You must learn UI5 as an ABAPer.
ABAP development tools and Eclipse.
Very,
And
very
how to.
helpful. If you really want to become an end-to-end developer in S4 HANA, this is very, very helpful. Now, looking about my training and schedules, you can click here on this link. It will take you to another site, and where you will find schedule of all my trainings. What is the current batch running? You can see this is the current batch schedule. We expected to finish last weekend. We already extended. It was 40 hours, and I think I already exceeded about 52 hours for the current course. I could not resist myself to showcase all the features and capabilities and topics. Unfortunately, many times it so happened that I exceed the time which I promised to you guys. But I hope you could also understand that I don't want to miss or skip any topic. Okay, so that's the reason. Uh, Now, the next one here you can see is also starting for a Banana tomorrow, which is a new batch. Anyway, same content. Of course, you already completed the current one, which is okay for you to continue. I have Web ID recorded sessions available. I have also started SAP HANA native application development training here, which was started on 18th March. By far, 4 sessions are over. Tomorrow we have 5th session planned. So always refer this for my trainings which I'm offering, the latest trainings which I'm offering on different topics. So you can always refer this website for all the upcoming batches, ongoing batches, and stuff like that. Now there's a question as discussed last week. I will share the document with you which I prepared for stepwise access of your server. Find Saheli. So Saheli has prepared a beautiful document which has steps written to access from local computer from web IDE our S4 server, also from EDT our S4 server, which I am using for practicing, so you all can also practice those things. Okay, there is no plan for next batch on HANA access because I did not even get much response in the current patch. Many people wrote me an email that they want access, and last time when I started they didn't turn up. Then but however some of them turned up which who did not even ask. So I have started it. I can't now say no to them. But it's not really economic for me to sit with 2-3 people on a batch. However, the recordings of this will be available for you. Can we send us some frequently asked questions on ABAP on HANA? It's already there. One of my students has prepared complete set of interview questions on ABAP on HANA, uploaded on the website, absolutely free for all of you. You can download it, share it freely everywhere on internet. ABAP on HANA free interview questions, all of it available for you guys, completely downloadable from my website onlinefurytrainings.com. You will have access to this blog 8 months from the day of payment when you made. So maybe you made a payment recently, so you will have 8 months of access from the day of payment for this training blog to refer to the videos. Rest all the material is anyways downloadable. Just one more update. I have got Manoj's email, and Manoj has collected some material on ABAP on HANA, from his company, from his past employer, and he has shared his valuable material with me. And I think it's valuable for all of us to respect and consume this material. I've already uploaded the link for that here in our training material. You can see ABAP on HANA study material, standard SAP reference. It's in the useful link tab in our training block. Click on this, you would get a drive link and you can download this material. So hurry up before I delete this from my drive. Please download all this material which Manoj has collected. I think there are some certification guides as well inside of this. You can use that for the purpose of downloading. So it's good to share always. Manoj, thank you so much for sharing this, and I think many of us will get benefited out of it with the help of your material. And I always believe in sharing. If you guys also have something of that sort, some certification questions and stuff, just do share it with me. I will upload it here in the same link, and then let others also get benefited out of it. Okay. How are you connecting to backend system while creating Fiori app? That's what Ranjan Saheli will share a document. I will upload that document inside. I will upload the document inside here. So you will see that document will be coming in session presentation study material section. Okay. Okay. So yeah, I will upload that document. Saheli, please share it with me as soon as possible so I can share it with others so that they can also access it. Will you be mailing us the certificate? Do you need certificate, Chandra? Really? Okay, we'll discuss that offline. Just do give me a call. We'll discuss. Okay. Your knowledge is your certificate. Okay. I don't believe, I don't believe in certification. However, still people do come back to me asking Anubhav, certificate, certification, certificate. Okay. Believe me, guys, I'm training since last 15 years, different topics. Many of you already attended many of my trainings, but I am not at all certified even a single topic. Not at all certified even on a single topic, guys. Not at all in a single topic which I'm teaching. And I don't think I will ever go for certification on any course. Fine.
Is IDA available from which version? IDA.
Web IDE.
No, no, IDA. The one which you told, taught yesterday.
Okay. Let me just
ALV
check.
IDA.
I think it's 7.4
But
SP.
which version it's
ALV IDA available with. Just do a quick Google and you would know. Okay, there are a lot of blocks. I think it's from 7.4 SP0 onwards only. You see? 7.4 onwards only. Not even SP. 7.4 directly. Yeah, Chandra. Now we can hear you.
Yeah. Sorry, I don't need the certification for a job or anything. This is to maintain my CPIM and CSCP certifications.
That's
So
okay.
every 5 years,
Drop me an
I had
email.
to.
I'll
Yeah,
just check your.
Just send me.
Let's see.
Yeah. No problem. I appreciate it. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, great guys. Thank
Yeah.
you so much for all your patience and love which you all given me, and thank you so much for accepting me the way I am. I've been always talking many things out of context of the course always, and you have been very patient listening
Yeah.
to that. Many times my
Yeah.
output.
I taken so many trainings. You are the best. I'm telling you. Like you're very cogent. That the flow. Whatever I want to teach, whenever I teach some class, whatever I was trying to do, like you have done it much more professionally, and what do you call, like it's really enjoyed it. I would recommend you to everybody. Already telling other people, to take this class. Whoever I talk to, all my friends.
It makes some comment on my YouTube video on my channel. To if you read that recommendation, that really helps me. So I would give this link to all
Sure.
of you. Okay, so just drop me
Okay.
a comment on my YouTube video. What do you feel about it? Yes, there are always complaints which I want to hear. People say good things about you, but sometimes they don't want to tell honestly what somewhere I am lagging. Please do let me know your complaints and feedback. What Anubhav should improve. That's what keeps me get going. A complaint for customer
No,
is a compliment for me.
yeah, my only complaint is you teach so much, you give so much information, my brain is not able to process them. No, that's the only complaint.
But that's okay.
So
Over a period of time, it will gel up slowly. At least you know the
I know.
capabilities and options available with the app on HANA now. Complete stack
Correct.
I covered with S4 HANA. You know where all what option fits in, where to use what, including the complete ABAP on HANA content, along with my personal experience with working with S4 and ABAP on HANA. That is also I have covered it. Hopefully, it will take some time. Videos are there with you already. I'm not going anywhere. I'm there with you also for lifetime. You can always drop me an email. I do get emails from students whom I taught 10 years, 12 years back when I was not that good communication skills. So those emails also I get it these days, and they still in touch with me. So hopefully it's a long term relationship, not just for one training or two training. And
Sure,
yes, of
sure, sure.
course there are
So where
more
are you
things
located,
coming up.
Anubhav, in India?
Sorry.
Where are you located?
Delhi. I'm in Delhi. I'm at
Delhi.
night.
Okay, okay.
Okay.
Good,
So I
cool.
support Delhi in IPL. Actually, I'm from Gujarat. I'm not actually from Delhi. I'm born and brought up in Gujarat, but I shifted to Delhi a couple of years back, and I support because we don't have a Gujarat team. Okay, great. So with that, it's a wrap. Thank you so much, guys, once again, and stay tuned to my YouTube channel. In my past batches, I could not cover BOPF concept. Hence, I promised my previous batch colleagues, friends, that I will be sharing BOPF video, which I already shared on YouTube. Same I promise to you, if there's something which I'm not covering here in the course and something which I learn new and you it's important for you to also learn, I will be sharing that in our training blog as well as a YouTube video for the same. So keep an eye on the training blog. You would see sometimes more videos coming up, which are pure video based learning videos. And also recently started Anubhav learning series here. Those who are attending my UI5 Fury classes, usually they have lot of complaints. अनुभव ये नहीं पढ़ाया, अनुभव वो नहीं पढ़ाया, अनुभव ये भी जानना है, अनुभव वो भी सीखना है, ये भी बता दो, वो भी बता दो. I could not cover so many things in my course. Hence I've started learning series here where some things which I could not cover and I get a complaint about. I get my student complains me, Anubhav, this is what you didn't teach us. I create a YouTube video for that and I publish that on Anubhav learning series. So this is why I started this special series to listen to your complaints, listen to your feedback and react onto it in a way that benefits everybody. This is what I've started. Recently I got a feedback from one of my student, Anubhav. Can you tell me, my company is not convinced to buy WebID, we are doing Eclipse based development. Tell me what is the difference between Eclipse, what is the advantage of WebIDE over Eclipse. I created a video for him, I gave it to him along with the PPT, he presented to his manager, and now his life is sorted. So I always work day and night to solve your problems. Please do write me your problems, what you're facing in real world, the things which I missed in, things which I could not touch upon in this training. I would definitely create a video, not today but soon or later you would get definitely response from me. Okay, so that's why I specially started this learning series absolutely free for YouTube community. Those who have attended my training or also may not attend my training want to know something, they ask me question, I could not resist myself to learn new things or to share my knowledge with the whole world about what problems you are facing. So this is, stay tuned to this learning series, lot of free knowledge. You see complete end-to-end Fury development I taught here, creating a simplified database design on S4 HANA, then consuming, creating an OData service from scratch on top of the database tables, and finally consuming them line by line inside a Fury application and firing it, and finally deploying this app inside of SAP HANA, S4 HANA system, and accessing it from Fury Launchpad, creating the necessary Fury security roles, authorizations, and then granting it to the user, and also web id versus eclipse difference. This is what I've created by far. It's all available. Remember one of the day I showed you the chat bot, with HANA XSJS. That is also uploaded as a video on YouTube. Complete source code, absolutely free for all of you. Go ahead and download it, put it in your HANA box, run it. Your chat bot will be live. Of course, machine learning I could not incorporate inside of this, but I've created a kind of XSJS which treats like, give you a feel like machine learning. Of course, in future, my plan is to bring more machine learning, predictive analytics, Copilot, SAP Leonardo. More and more things keeps coming in industry which are mesmerizing me. Recently, I'm working on Google Kubernetes, so that's something also I'm planning to start. IoTs, hybrid application toolkit, designing a Fury application for iOS. Lot many things I'm getting from many of you. It's not just you set of people, but many of you. More than 900 plus students by far in last 3 years. They're all approaching me day and night, continuously demanding more and more from me, and I'm trying myself best to cope up and meet your needs and expectations, guys. With that, it's a wrap up on this course. Thank you so much for a participant of this. Have a nice day and stay in touch. Goodbye.